Welcome to Strangeville. Welcome to the channel. My name is Kevin Strange, 20-year veteran of the underground, cartoonist, novelist, and filmmaker. And I am here today to talk to you about my love of comic books. Today, we're taking a look at Adam Warren's seminal American manga. He is an American mangaka. We're looking at his American manga series, Bubblegum Crisis, adapted from the
Kenichi Sonata's anime of the
same name. I'm joined today by my friend Johnny. He's come down from Chicagoland, the editor of all of my films. He's the mother in Colonel Kill, the titular mother in Colonel Kill Motherfuckers. He played a bum, the leader of a gang of bums in Stiff Jobs. He's played many roles in not only hack movies, but in my life. And the primary role is as my friend. Hello, friend Johnny.
Hello.
Welcome to the channel. You expressed interest maybe in coming down from Chicago, from the hellscape that is Chicago, to talk about comics, and you had a few in mind that you wanted to talk about, and you decided on Bubblegum Crisis as one of those. But before we get into Bubblegum Crisis, of course, gang, we're marching towards 1,000 subscribers, the big 1,000 subscriber mark. And when we get there, when we hit 1,000 subscribers, my American manga, can I call this an American manga? I probably can't. This is indie cringe bullshit. Kevin Strange's
appropriated.
Kevin Strange's American manga, Space Worms. This is a 164-page full-color graphic novel done entirely by yours truly. It is a horror comedy splatterpunk outlaw underground comic book, and it will be and it is currently available along with all of my other comic books at the Patreon link below. For only $3 a month, you get access to 20 years of my comic books, novels, and feature-length films, including my comic books Death to Strangeville, The Wizard of Ganj, Too Many Dabs, issues 1 and 2, many others, in addition to Kevin Strange's Space Worms. If you get us to, we're almost there. We're less than 200 subscribers away from that coveted 1,000 subscriber spot. Once we hit that, Space Worms will be going up on the Patreon for free. Johnny, you can download the PDF of my American manga.
God damn.
For free. But that out of the way, bills paid, we're going to look at Bubblegum Crisis from Adam Warren. This is Adam Warren, and Adam here does the pencils. He does the pencils, inks, and story, and then he has additional inks by these fellers here. Colors by Joe Rasa and lettering by Tomoko Satos, and Kenichi Sonata, which is the original creator of the animated Bubblegum Crisis movie, or
it was a series.
The original series, and he does a little he does an introduction here for the trade paperback or the graphic novel version. This is a Dark Horse Comics publication. He says, Adam's slow and steady efforts at drawing otaku, which is a dedicated fanboy, the fanboy type manga, have once again borne fruit. Although Bubblegum Crisis is just a fond memory to me now, it gives me great pleasure to see the characters I designed make their appearance in America. Good job, Adam. Keep on drawing. I'm behind you all the way. So we've got the seal of approval of the original creator. And has this been done before or since? I don't know that that an American has gotten permission to draw, because usually these anime stories they usually start as manga.
Yeah.
This didn't. This started as
this was an original story for OVA, as they called it, original video animation.
Interesting. And so that probably isn't done very often. Like there's probably not a lot of these out there that an American kid can. Do you know how old he was when he did this?
No, unfortunately.
Probably probably a kid in his 20s. Yeah, probably
early 30s. I would say early 30s.
Yeah, kid in his 20s or early 30s going, "Hey man, what do you think if I draw your anime as a American comic book?" Like I just don't think that happens very often. Maybe maybe more now in the world of every kid under 25 is a anime and manga freak. Like this, I believe that this particular video, the comment section, is going to be chock full of manga nerds that are going to light me up for not knowing. First of all, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. I'm probably not even saying manga correct. Manga? Is it a manga? Man,
manga.
It's a manga. This is a manga book. Anyway, not here to be your comic book historian. The best comic book historian. His name was Ed Piskor. The comics industry killed Ed Piskor, and now you're stuck with me. So you get the dime store version of Ed Piskor, and I don't know nothing about nothing, but I am here to carry on the legacy of the love of the comic book medium, and so we are going to dig into Bubblegum Crisis here a little bit. Tell us something.
So
Johnny?
yeah, I was a little teenager, got into anime, and I was also into comics, X-Men and all that stuff, and I mostly was just into comics for the art. And sure, I read them, but I didn't really pay attention to the story as much as I did the art. And when I saw this, I was like, hey, I know this anime. I was like, look at this awesome, comic of the anime, and I thought it was the same creator. I had no idea that it was a different person.
Look at those completely blacked out eyes here. That's awesome.
And that anime came out in the 80s, and this comic came out in the 90s, and it's like a 90s metal version of the original anime. And like, because of the original anime, it's very much inspired by Streets on Fire, the movie, and the band that Chris, this lady
Streets
here,
on Fire. That's the
Walter Hill. It's got Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe being fucking crazy. Like,
yeah.
What's crazy about that movie is if you watch that flick, Willem Dafoe looks exactly the same. Like that Willem Dafoe face has been on that man since he was a child, and he had to like grow into he didn't start looking normal with that fucking head on him until he was probably in his 50s. Like he had a 50-year-old man's head on him when he was 20 in that movie, and that's a great movie. That's Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis playing the heavy.
Yeah.
In that flick, that's I think that might be the one and only time I've ever seen Rick Moranis play like a straight guy and a villain. Like he does not joke. He didn't have a single joke in that movie. It's like, what a weird casting that was. So this is inspired by like the anime.
The anime was inspired by Streets on Fire because it's very music heavy. One of the main characters, because there's 4 girls. This girl here, I can't remember their names, but she's like the leader of this group, and they basically have metal suits that they go and
light them up, gang. Name these ladies in the comments.
They fight these things called boomers, which are kind of like Terminators.
Boomers are kind of older guys that drive trucks. They vote for Donald Trump.
And
they're cringe on Facebook.
I think Nene is her name, the pink-haired. She works for the police.
You better not have that wrong.
Yeah.
You're gonna get roasted.
And then there's another one who's like an aerobics instructor, and then Pris, which is the lead singer of us band, and their music was what like propelled the anime, so it was constantly being used. And in the anime, it's more of like a hair metal or pussy metal band. But in this version, he turns them. Yeah, they're called the Night Sabers.
Why not call the fucking thing Night Sabers? That's a cool.
And that's another thing. Bubblegum Crisis. Like I've talked to so many people. Like, why is it called Bubblegum Crisis? And we always just came up with because it's a sticky situation. That's the only thing we could think of. But he turned it more into a metal band, like a punk metal band. So it's like the whole comic kind of has that punk metal feel to it versus the anime. Like it's really dark and violent.
Night Sabers, not the title of the book.
And I was like, this is the quintessential, like I called it anime art back then before I knew it was called manga, and not even knowing it was done by a Westerner. I thought this was just Japanese art.
Yeah, it looks pretty legit as manga.
And I just would like this. That is just awesome.
What does it say? My mission in life is to see you die, baby. Hang on to this. I've got a book I want to show you.
And I mean, just look at this guitar playing. It's just insane how fast they're making them look like they're playing the guitar.
Where is that book?
But yeah, I as much as I love the original anime, and it's got more of an 80s aesthetic to it, just moving it into the 90s with this metal look to it just really adds to it.
Here it is, right here, right in front of my face. So this is this is what this reminds me of. Not in the, not necessarily in the style, but this is a manga called Detroit Metal City.
Yeah,
close that for a second. And Detroit Metal City is all about this death metal band whose lead singer like morphs from this like killer death metal guy into this like little dweeb, and this little dweeby guy, and then he like morphs, and so the whole rest of the band is like they're like super into being like into metal, but he's like really embarrassed by it. And their manager is this chick that wants to fuck the lead singer, but is like super like this is what he looks like as the lead singer. But she's like super abusive towards him when he's like the little dweeby guy. And they have like, and the reason that reminded me of this is because they have like, this is considered to be like one of the most offensive mangas because of the lyrics that he sings when he's in the death metal character mode. He's like, kill him, kill him, kill him, all kill your parents. And that's not even like, that doesn't even scratch the surface of how like crazy this his lyrics get in here. But that kind of reminded me of the same thing. Like it's a manga about a metal band with like crazy lyrics. But we'll do an episode on Detroit. It's called Detroit Metal City. That was the title of that one. We'll do an episode on that some other time. Gang, let's get back into Bubblegum Crisis. Where were we there with the
right here.
All right. She goes on.
I'm not your whore. I'm your angel of death.
I'm your noose, your razor blade, your lethal injection. I love it. Love it.
And I mean, this is just like, when you're a teenager, just this art, especially discovering manga and anime for the first time. This is just.
That's what I always tell people when I'm doing stuff on the show that's like nostalgic and stuff from like the 90s is like, if you're getting into like, if you're getting into comic books in your 20s or 30s or whatever, like you don't understand how much this shit resonated to us in the 20s when we were growing up in a much different culture than you're growing up in today. And this stuff was just like, yes, absolutely. This is my everything.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, it just made Bubblegum Crisis even cooler. And I like I said, I liked the anime, but it still had like a little, I wouldn't say lameness, but just kind of like, oh, it's, girls, fighting robots, and it's cool. But this just really made me even like the anime more. Just thinking of them in this way. And and it's like, it's an American, or at least a Westerner.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that. So Adam is actually the second like professional American mangaka.
As far as I know, Ben Dunn from Antarctic Press that did Ninja High School and Warrior Nun Arila. I think he's technically like the first like pop, successful American like manga artist.
What if we're wrong? Is there a comment? Is there a comment section? Is there a comment section someone could correct us in down below? Don't you tell us, gang. You tell us.
And then, Adam Warren, the first thing he did was Dirty Pair, which is another series from a Japanese manga and TV show and movies that he adapted over here.
So he did it twice?
He did it twice. Dirty Pair was actually the first, and this is actually not the first one. He did one called Biohazard, I think was the first one. I don't have that one. But the art is definitely like rougher, more rigid. And I'm not a huge fan of it, but you can definitely see the manga style influence, but nothing like this.
So he did all the story and all the art.
In this one. And he did that in the 80s. I believe it was like 86 or something, maybe 89. I don't remember. But then he came back to it with this style. And yeah, same thing. Like I saw this and I was like, oh, this is Japanese, and turned out to be American. And then I realized it was the same guy that did Bubblegum Crisis. And he's pretty successful. He ended up doing a lot of like X-Men covers and things. He did the Star Wars manga covers, and he's got a series going on now called Empowered. And his art has it's still definitely anime or manga inspired, but it's definitely come into his own, where it's his style. It doesn't really look like anybody else's. But I've always been a fan of this. I think this is like him at his best, personally. And just all the things just the detail on each page, the action, you can feel the action.
We call it noodling around here. It's got does a lot of noodling. A lot of duo shade there too with the dots.
And I'm one that I just really love my pages filled with just nonsense. So this was definitely my style.
Just dense. Just look at all that. Look at the fucking... Every panel is just noodled to fucking high heaven. Lots of dialogue too. Dr. Ben's terrified of dialogue. You can't read.
Yeah.
I like the dialogue because it slows you down. It forces you to spend time on a page, and as you're reading through the dialogue, you're also glancing back at the art, and it allows you to tear through it so quickly, and not appreciate what's on the page. In my opinion, Dr. Ben disagrees.
Yeah, I really I don't know. He had a style of like beauty and like violence that was just meshed very well.
Let's read this introduction here at the beginning. It's kind of long, but let's see what Don Thorsland has to say in the introduction. After a recent Newsweek article proclaiming current online cyber forums the last stronghold for chauvinist superiority. When is this? The 1980s?
No,
this is 1996. Okay, that's about the time the woke mind virus started to creep its way into the mainstream. After a recent Newsweek article proclaimed current online cyber forums the last stronghold of chauvinist superiority, a digital clubhouse populated by computer nerds with a no girls sign hung on the door, I went back and reread Sim Hell. Taken at face value, the lovely angels could be dismissed as mere boy toys. Mnemonic alloy-clad vixens with a love for weapons that are as sensualized as sensualized as they are. Scratch the surface, however, and it becomes clear that these are wolves in Kewpie doll clothing, intent on poking those big guns where boys would rather they not. Why do we boys keep coming back for more? This is kind of like a male feminist, trying to frame our.
Well, I think this. So it was made in '96, but I think this came out. No, it was '94, 90. I guess it was '96. So maybe this introduction came out later, but it looks like this came out. The comics came out in '94, but '96 was when this book came out.
So this is like he's the writer of Star Wars Droids. That explains it all. The writer of Star Wars Droids wants you to know, gang, that this is acceptable feminist literature. That all the guns and scantily clad ladies and all the sexiness is actually female empowerment here. So don't you worry your little heads at all. You can. This is. I believe that's the. Did he just give this the jack off pass, Johnny?
Yeah,
we're free to jack off to all of these scantily clad bimbos because they're not really bimbos. They're actually empowered women who are poking their guns where boys don't want them to. Even though this is written and drawn by a guy, we're already doing feminist victory laps in 1996 by fucking Star Wars dork writers. So you know where we're headed in the future, gang. This was writing on the wall, I suppose. I personally think this is awesome. And I don't need to give it a stamp of feminist approval to enjoy myself reading this. This is really fun and sexy stuff, and I think that's okay. I think it's okay for men to enjoy the physical beauty of the female form. I don't know about you, Johnny, but it's a-okay by me, no Star Wars dork. Seal of approval needed. You let us know in the gang comments. Let us know comments in the gang if you agree or disagree that that Dirty Pair Sim Hell is this is a feminist a work of feminist activism. I think. Do you have anything else to say about Bubblegum Crisis, Adam Warren, Dirty Pair, Detroit Metal City? Anything? Kevin Strange's Space Worms? Anything you'd love to say about anything?
I would say, yeah, if you haven't checked these out, definitely give them a read, especially for the art. The art's great. I'm sure the story's really good too. I don't remember it, but I still just flip through it for the art from time to time. So definitely give it a read.
And if you've got comics you don't read, gang, and you want to get them off your hands, I guess, feel free to send them to Kevin Strange, P.O. Box number 5, Cottage Hills, Illinois, 62018. If you're a comics creator and you want us to take a look at your comics that you've created, you can send them our way as well. Your dollar bin dupes, or a comic that you just can't wait to hear the Kevin Strange take on. You send it our way to the P.O. Box and we'll take a look at it. And until next time, gang, I hope I see you at the dollar bin, and keep on digging.